Glastonbury 2007 is underway, and as usual it's cold, wet and muddy, but spirits are high, the bar is open and the place is buzzing.
United staff have been talking to young people about work and telling them what the union can do for them.
In our Stand Up to Your Boss competition, employers are getting the short end of revellers' wrath. The environment, student loans and even international politics is on the agenda. All these topics are getting Glastonbury people fired up.
We've invited revellers here at Glastonbury to share their experiences with us.
And it's silly that if you can't afford to go to university, then you're in debt. And now it's getting worse because they changed the different levels of university. They're changing it, making it higher.
My name's Imogen. And how old are you?
17.
And tell us a bit about where it was that you worked.
I went to a shop called Ice 9 in Nottingham.
And what kind of shop was it?
It was a jewellery and clothes shop.
And do you want to tell us what happened there with your boss then?
I was asked to hold a mirror while my work colleague filed my boss's tooth with a drill.
And why is it that he wanted one of you to file his teeth?
So we wouldn't have to pay for the dentist to do it.
They've made us all reapply to our jobs, and there's going to be between 10 and 12,000 unemployed junior doctors in Britain come August the 1st. Many of them are having to work abroad, many of them are having to leave medicine, and bearing in mind that the taxpayer pays £250,000 to train each and every one of us, we think it's a waste of the taxpayers' money and a waste of our training and our lives that now so many people are having to leave. I know many very well educated, very highly qualified doctors who are going to be unemployed from the 1st of August because of the shambles of the system that Patricia Hewitt is in charge of.
Just tell us what your bad boss story is.
I was a chef at the King's Head in Lewis, and I was wiping down after the shift, and I was wiping down next to a deep fat fryer, and the top chef had overfilled it, and so when I hit it, it spilled all over my hand. And so he did it and kind of laughed at me when I did it. And I went down to sit in the bar, and Jenny, who's the other boss, she's the landlady, told me to put ice on it and just laughed at me for a while. And eventually it took one of the locals in the pub to tell me that I should probably go to hospital because it was quite a bad burn. And my boss stood there with the car keys in his hand saying, "I wonder how you're going to get to hospital. Maybe we should strap the ice onto your hand with some masking tape." And eventually they got the barmaid called up her boyfriend and he took me to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, they said that it was really lucky I came in that day because if I hadn't, I'd probably be scarred for life.
One thing that brings many people together is an interest in international issues. More than 3,000 people have been murdered in Colombia simply for belonging to a trade union. Many more have been tortured. One survivor told his story at Glastonbury.
I'm the editor of the biggest and oldest opposition newspaper, Oz, which this year is celebrating its 50-year anniversary.
Sin embargo, no es así. Realmente en Colombia no existe la libertad de prensa como tampoco existe una verdadera democracia.
But that's not the case. In Colombia there's no free press, there's no freedom of expression, as there isn't any democracy.
Nuestro periódico cumple 50 años en medio de muchas dificultades y de una historia de persecución y de intimidación que hemos logrado superar con el apoyo del movimiento sindical y de los sectores populares colombianos.
Our paper reaches its 50th anniversary in the midst of many difficulties and a history of persecution and intimidation that we've been helped survive with the trade union movement and the Colombian social movement.
So there is a real battle of ideas. And in Colombia, in Cuba, in other countries now in Latin America, we see a new approach, a new determination to put social justice at the heart of their vision of the kind of society they're trying to build.
Joining us now is Sally Koski, Unite's head of organising. Sally recently joined a TUC delegation to Colombia. Sally, is it really as bad as the report suggests?
When I visited Colombia, I met trade unionists, I met students, human rights activists, lawyers, all of whom were telling similar stories about the persecution they'd faced, about family members who had been disappeared, tortured, just for their involvement in social justice activities. So yes, I think the situation is just as bad as the report suggests.
You also visited a women's prison. What did you see there?
At the women's prison, I met women who had been imprisoned without trial, accused of rebellion. Many of the women that I met had been tortured. Many of the women I met had had their family tortured, disappeared, murdered even. They had no access to justice, they had no access to trial, so they were accused of rebellion. And what happens in Colombia is often, as soon as a human rights lawyer takes up their case, then they get freed by the authorities, because the authorities know there's no case against them. But for the intervening period, they're separated from their friends, from their families. Many of them had children, and they're locked up in appalling conditions.
And how can trade unions help young people make a difference internationally?
The Colombian people get great strength from knowing that they've got international solidarity, so it's just vital that young people understand and realise that they can make a real difference to these people even though they're so far away, and we must encourage them to get involved.
That's it for today here at Glastonbury, where we've had a great time.
We've heard from some people about their bad boss stories, and we've had a useful debate on international issues.
Tomorrow our boss Derek Simpson arrives, so it's best behaviour all round.
But Glastonbury is about the music, so let's end on some of the sights and sounds of Glastonbury 2007 so far.
And I thought, seeing as we're in Glastonbury on the left field stage, I might as well say that I hope that we can sort out our problems in England with our politics and all that shit. I never really get political on stage, but maybe you guys are the right people to say it to. And I hope we start before we fucking bomb other countries and shit. I hope you have a great weekend. I've been Kid Up, and this is the powers that be.
They sentenced me to 20 years of boredom for trying to change the system from within. I'm coming now, I'm coming to reward them. First, we'll take Manhattan, then we'll take Berlin. I'm guided by a signal from the heavens. I'm guided by this birthmark on my skin. I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons. First, we'll take Manhattan, then we'll take Berlin. I'd really like to live beside you, baby. I love your body, your spirit and your clothes. You see that line there, it's a moving through the station. I told you, I told you, I told you I was one of those. Why you love me as a loser, now you're worried that I might just win. You know the way to stop me, you don't have no fucking discipline. How many nights I pray to let my work begin. First, I'll take Manhattan, then we'll take Berlin.